go back to the game as we are now entering the drafting phase, ladies and gentlemen, for the final match of the day, the lower brackets. One team will move forward and one team will have to go home. Looking at this, it looks like ONIC have the first pick, Smart Omega with the second, and already Angela and the Harith have been taken out of the board.
A lot of respect bans coming through as well for Mirai. Actually, both sides actually have very good roamers here. So they take away the Angela mobility, the Minotaur that both sides are known to be using, and one of the best heroes to go with right now when it comes to the roam position, Kira the Flash of the Oasis. But we're seeing some respect bans coming through for the gold laner here of ONIC. This has been a strategy that Coach King Salman has been doing several times, even when Smart Omega is going up against other teams. They really ban out a lot of these gold lane picks to make sure that Shinoa has the best pick or the best time that she can get in the gold lane.
And that's really interesting, right? Because the pattern is in the other leagues is that usually second pick would have to prioritize banning out these priority picks, right? With like the Luo Yi, the Chip. But here we see the Moskov being banned out alongside with the Harith, and the Novaria also respected away from Smart Omega Empress. So do you think they're going to go for the Luo Yi chip ban, or are they going to go for a respect again?
Ooh, yeah, this is kind of like forcing, or rather like kind of Omega thinking that, okay, maybe they can take, for ONIC they can pick up the chip for their first pick, but they can also pick up like their gold laner, since they're already banning out so many of these gold laners very early on, and they can either answer out, yeah, with the chip and Loi, which is still open right now, not unless they ban it away for their final ban, and it's gonna be a Matilda ban for the last ban of Smart Omega. So first pick for the side of ONIC chip is open. They can also start to pick up their gold laner if they want to do so, but there's a lot of things open here. Eternal Loi as well is open.
Yeah, that's why. I guess
go.
Smart Omega is like, all right, if we want to go for the Luo Yi chip, if they do pick it up, then we'll go, you know, which one do you prefer? We'll take the other, right, with the Matilda being banned out. But remember, if they want to go for early game prio, they can still go for the Roger. Roger's still open. We do still see that the Fredrin is still open and up for grabs as well. It has been a priority today for those neutral objective takes.
Yeah, I think it's good for Smart Omega to pick, like sometimes they do this in their draft, like they pick up like the Roger for Keishi, or kind of flexing it, right? Like it could also be Shinoa's heroes, but most of the time it actually goes to Keishi. So Roger and the ship maybe for Mirai if they want to go head to head with this Loi, but instead, you know, they go for none of that actually. They go for the Roger, yep, and the Lilia for the mid lane. A good wave clear and the black shoes as well to be popped in the nick of time in case she gets bursted down by the Loi.
Yeah, the Lilia is quite interesting, right? We don't see the Lilia pop up too often unless there are so many bans in the mid lane. There are so many other priority heroes in that mid lane, but the Lilia, again, like we mentioned earlier on before, really good wave clear in the early game, right? Doesn't need that level 4 power spike, just needs that early level 1, level 2, gonna be able to dish out that damage, that burst is already there. And then later on, if she goes in for a more utility kind of role, the Ice Queen wand is gonna be great arsenal to the slows and the utility in these particular team fights. But the Grok and the Natan has been left open here, Burger Kim.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that the Grok was still open because I was looking at the bans and the Grok was nowhere to be found. And if not the Minotaur, it is a priority on Jewel's heroes here. And this is looking really scary. Like both the roamers here of ONIC and Smart Omega are very comfortable with the Grok. It's actually a steal from the side of ONIC, but wow, wait, hold on, Eterna. You think that it's only ID that's seeing like assassins being used, right? But this is serious business coming out from the side of Smart Omega. They're like, okay, you know what? You think it's the Roger that's going to the jungle? No, it's actually going to be the Ling here for Keishi. Oh, a classic pick coming out from her side too. Great early game from both the gold lane and the jungle. So for ONIC, will they go that same route? Will they also go for like an assassin jungler? Since Bene is also very known to be using like Lancelots and the Nolans.
It's definitely possible if they want to try and contest in that early game, right? Because looking at the Ling, looking at the Roger, looking at the Lilia, this is so prio in the early game that the Natan might have an issue when it comes
Right.
down to, just barreling down in the gold lane to try and get to that power spike, because the Ling, the mobility is there. We have the wave clear from the Lilia. The Roger also goes for a snowball against the Natan. It's such a good lane for all these three heroes. And of course, the Martis gets taken out. So they're like, you know what, ONIC Zol, if you want to go for early game, let's start eliminating your heroes, right? Martis is also really great in the early game, and they take it out of the board. But counter here, with the respect ban, the Charizla gets picked off.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a priority as well for both sides. I think so. Onyx Zol and Smart Omega really love this pick. I think for Omega, if they wanna kind of limit out the hero pool here of Bene, maybe consider like the Barretts or maybe some of her assassins to be taken out here for the last side. Oh, they're actually eliminating also all possibilities here, even taking away the Masha here that can have that one hit delete thing. So it's kind of far out, but I know this has been used especially in special situations. The Barretts that I mentioned that can be flexed in the XP lane will also be taken out here, which leaves just a few options here to take in. Oh, I completely forgot about the Orlot. It hasn't been banned away, and they actually lock it in. A comfort pick for not Ayanami as well as Mirai. So this is again a flex pick. We still don't know if it's going to the XP or the roam position.
Honestly, if they want to play into the comfort heroes of not Ayanami, put this Arlet in the mid lane, go for Khalid in the EXP lane. That's definitely still an option, despite the limitations coming through with the bans. But it sounds like another alpha game coming through here for ONIC Zol. So they're doubling down here. Not really sure why they would go for the alpha. I guess they're looking
Taking
for
notes.
some snowball too.
Yeah, they're taking
Because,
notes, right?
alpha is so good against utility heroes, but against the Lings, but
Wow.
the Paquito, that's a different story now.
Okay, is it? Wait. I'm kind of geeking out here. Is it a throwback to the Paquito jungle? But I think with the way things are going,
I don't
right?
think so.
No, I think it should be the XP lane here for the Paquito. But it's a possibility, right? Because it's so flexible. These last two picks of Onyx Zol, the true damage as well from the Alpha, I think is something that they are also considering here for this point. But Mirai still needs to lock in her hero. Oh, actually, okay. So it is an Arlot roam here for Smart Omega. That's just the beauty of it. Having like a very flexible type of lineup, like two players can actually switch up their heroes. And yep, a Yuzong to deal with the Loi and the Nathan, which is actually a very good last pick here for Smart Omega.
Technically, I would disagree. I think the Natan is great against the Yuzong, but the condition is the Natan needs to be able to scale into the late game, because at the late game, if the Natan gets the power spike, despite the Yuzong going into the Black Dragon form, that damage will shred through the Yuzong. So you can say it's a counter, but it really depends on the situation.
Yeah, I think for the side of Smart Omega, they still need that type of hero that can reach the backlines, right? Like the Loi, the Nathan, and I think what better way to actually use these heroes, especially in the early game, the turtle fights, right? It's going to be very crucial, especially for not Ayanami as well as Attorney Ang to be able to get in that level 4 power spike before that hits. Early game is going to matter here, and yeah, the only two Philippine teams that are here in the SPS Women's League, it's going to be Onyx Zol and of course Smart Omega that are vying for the last spot to the upper bracket finals. But now they have to go up against each other right now for that spot in this first matchup between these two teams.
So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. It boils down to this best of 3. And of course, the results from game number 1 will carry through to the rest of the series. One team will be going home. And will it be ONIC Zol or will it be Smart Omega Empress?
Interesting farming pattern here as well as the emblem set. So wow, a lot of quantum charges. So from our XP laners as well as our junglers, and even our roamers have, like, even the Brock here has the basic common emblem, or the quantum charge rather.
They're all vying for speed, right? They're looking for that speed. They know that the composition that Smart Omega Empress has committed to and with has so much damage and so much rotations in the early game that they're trying to go in with the speed, with the emblems that they have utilized. But you can see actually in the mid lane, despite the fast clear from Amor, that early game damage, that base damage from the Duoli is giving Amor a little bit of problems.
Yeah.
So she will be forced to recall despite her being able to clear a lot quicker.
Yeah, you can see why Omega Empress actually picked up the Lilia too, right? Like just in case like Amore or Shinoa gets bursted down, like there's still the black shoes to be able to regen that life. But now there's a lot of possibilities again with this draft. Pretty much like the chip, you have that global presence. You can gank anyone from the lane. The first turtle is up here right now, and Jewel gonna get stuck in between, forces the flicker out for the side of Onyx Sol, while the turtle is still gonna be worked on here by Bennett. It's going to be a retribution battle between these two. It's going to be zoning out. Ben is still going to be able to pick up that retribution, and Onyx All will secure in the first turtle.
That does propel them with a little bit of a gold lead in this early stage of the game. Both of these junglers were at the same EXP level, so it was a 50-50. But it turns out Bene will be able to win out in that retribution battle. Keishi so far has no problems with picking up her own purple buff. So in that regard, no concern whatsoever. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, you do see that the Grok is giving a little bit more support towards that Luo Yi to be able to clear quicker, because we all know what the Grok is known for, right? Other than the prowess that it has with initiating team fights, the wave clear is also really good.
Yeah, you see the XP lane matchup here as well, right? Like a smart pick on the Paquito that really keeps this Yuzong in check, or kind of keeps her contained in this lane. But now here on the bottom side though, Shinoa, 1v1 duel. There is also the Luoyi. First blood picked up here by Rian. You got a wild charge in. Mirai to the rescue. No avail. 1 HP left here as Keishi to the rescue as well. Tempest of Blades onto Rain. Will it be enough? They actually back away as Onyx Sol off to a great start.
Definitely, right? Already a pick over for their team. This is quite huge. A 1k gold lead in the first 3 minutes of the game. It looks like their plan is working with the composition that they brought in the draft pick.
Yeah, I think Omega as well was adjusting to what Onyx Sol was going to bring out, right? They immediately pick up the Ling here, yeah, just to gank out or give the Nathan a hard time. I think their plan was perhaps like maybe have the Roger for Keishi, but instead, Shinoa actually picks this up, and, Keishi goes in for another hero. And right now, rotations are going to be heavily centered around the bottom side, the gold lane. Rian has already picked up the first kill, and something that you definitely don't want to see if you're a Nathan. Black Shoes has been popped up here by Amori right before the turtle. Remember, Onyx Sol has already gotten in the first turtle of the game.
So we'll see the setup now, right? Bene at the moment at level 7, Keisha at level 7 as well. There's a lot more utilities and tools that they can utilize here, but Black Dragon form.
Retribution again gonna be used here by Bene. Secured in for Onyx All once again, and right now everybody's gonna go for the clapback. Tempest of Blades here by Keishi, but look at the punches coming through from Attorney Ang, able to pick up another kill for the side of Onyx All, but now there's gonna be another gang. Keishi gonna be forced to go out. Beautiful diversion play there by Rain, catching the members here of Omega off guard.
Oh, meanwhile as well in the bottom lane here, not Ayanami gonna be able to put some damage over to Rian, seeing as he's only picked up one item. But wait a minute,
No.
that's a kill over onto Shinoa.
Yeah, man, 2 deaths already for Shinoa. And this is not looking good for the side of Smart Omega. And now it's going to be not Ayanami. Going to be forced to back away. She just has to give this turret to Onyx. So this is looking really deadly for the side of Smart Omega Empress. Not only is this Nathan shining very early on, there's just so many things going all across the map. All care of the global presence here. A lot of ultimates being used right before the team fights.
And it looks like Keishi is having problems, right? With the diversion play earlier on. Sure, they were able to put some damage over to Keishi, but the main point was to be able to take that orange buff away from her. And now, that kill pressure is just not the way that it should be. Meanwhile, again, Ariang on the Paquito with the Hunter Strike first item, going in for aggression with that choice, is going to be able to pick up that turret in the top side. So you can say that Onyx Zul are controlling the map. Front, left, up, down, and center.
Wow, look at the damage leaderboard. It's all going to Rain and Rian here. The dynamic duo here, 13,000, 12,000, and it's so far all care of Onyx All, knowing for a fact that they've gotten in a lot of the turtles. Diversion play has been made. Jewel is here. They get spotted out by the grooms here of Amore. Nice, timely drops in of the gloom just to make sure that the Onyx All can't be able to make in those ganks that they want. And now they have successfully defended in this top lane, but that's 3 members of Smart Omega. While all that is happening, Keishi are gonna be able to steal that turtle away finally from the side of Onyx Zol. Rian, though, gonna be able to get a trade onto Not Ayanami.
Whoa, too many things were happening at once, right? There were split engages in the top lane as well as in the turtle pit. And it looks like Keishi was able to steal that out under the nose of Onyx Zol. But despite all of that happening, Onyx Zol still hold on to the gold lead that they have amassed, a 3K and counting, with this turret now falling in the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, we know that this is a case that we've seen for Smart Omega as well as Onyx Zol. It's always the late game for the Empresses. And for Onyx Zol, they're so good at this very, very early game aggression. And so far, it's working so well for them, not unless we have to wait for that power spike coming out from Amori as well as Shinoa. But right now, look at the damage coming out from the rotation dispersion coming out from Rain. It's just way too much for the side of Smart Omega, and not to mention the map control is theirs as well. 3,500 gold lead for the side of Onyx All.
That's why Louis is so pile. But
Wait.
another
Oh!
diversion play?
Was that a bait from Amore? She was trying to bait out all of the skills, right? Like, you see how many ultimates were invested there, and she just popped in the black shoes. That would have been a big kill, though, for Onyx All right before the Lord, the first Lord of the game.
For sure. 30 seconds though for the next Lord to pop in. And it looks like all of those resources have been popped up already. Already ready to use, already on standby, waiting in for the diversion from Rain. But back to that point, oh wait a second, Addy Yang.
Dornia is gonna get in that final slash, but right now there's a diversion play coming in, bringing the entire cavalry of Onyx Zol, and right now Shinoa forced to retreat to safety. There's a lot of damage coming in from the side of Onyx, but right now Rian gonna go for the target. Keishi gonna be bursted down there, actually gonna be counterplayed there on the side of Onyx Zol. One by one, the members here of Smart Omega falling down. A double kill for Bene, and they go straight for the Lord.
Keishi got outplayed there, and it looks like Addy Yang does mean business. Dishing out the damage onto Shinoa and Amor will be able to zone them away from their own turret. This Paquito is doing great so far, and it looks like Onyx gonna be able to pick up the Lord in the 9th minute of the game.
Shinoa, wait, does she know Jewel is there? There was a diversion play that was made. I'm pretty sure Omega. Oh! It was a double kill for Authority, and 3 members are down for the side of Smart Omega right before the Lord even pops in. A beautifully timed diversion play from Rain onto Jewel.
You mentioned that the Grok was an expensive pick, and now we see why. A groundbreaking moment for Onyx Zol as they look to push the tempo. All 3 lanes are crashing with the Lord marching down in the bottom side. Smart Omega Empress, they need everything they can to try and defend this one.
Yep, and now the Lord still up and kicking. One by one, turrets are gonna crash here for the side of Smart Omega. They haven't picked up any kills just yet. Here of the aggressive rotation here coming out from the side of Onyx All. 6,000 lead for their side, and they managed to take in the tower on the bottom side as well. Huge wins for the side of Onyx All, and this is not something you want to see. The Nathan that has been activated ever since diversion play, okay, nope, it is just for them to get that cooldown time. Gorgeous Berry has been committed here as well. 10 kills for Onyx All, and we have yet to see an answer from the side of Smart Omega.
And they haven't found it, right? They were banking with the composition that they brought for the early game. Shinoa needs to get that item. At this point, getting the power spike might be a little bit too late. Sure, you have the Windtalker. You also do have the Endless Battle. There's a little bit of true damage there, but 2 items in compared to an Atan with 3? It's oh, wait a minute.
Yep, that is huge. Okay, right? First one to fall. A lot of the first damage coming through. Beautifully timed diversion play. And now Amori does not have the black shoes. Rian pops in a double, and still Smart Omega. They always find themselves in a pickle here up against Onyx Zol. This is a crucial matchup for them, but this is Onyx Zol. The Onyx Zol that a lot of the people have come to love it now. Another diversion play being made. Still Rian unable to be shut down here by Smart Omega. And I think this is it. They're locking in the base. Onyx Zol will take in game number 1.
GG to Onyx Zol for that game. What in the world? We did not see that Onyx Zol earlier on in their match.